Hi, my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer, and every single Friday I give you a top-down analysis for the macro assets in the world to watch. We go over Bitcoin, total market cap in all of cryptocurrency, total 3, which is all of crypto excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum to see what the altcoins are doing. We also look at Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, the DXY, the S&P futures, the NASDAQ futures, as well as 3 other charts that can show you some deep insight into the crypto markets and beyond. I can't wait. So, if you're excited, I'm excited. Let's break it down and have a blast. We're going to start here with BTC right off the bat. Bitcoin had a huge flush of the shorts. They came down. Well, you think it was going to happen? And we came right back up. That's what happens to this asset. They love to grab them down and flush them up. And we were all over it. We were able to short the market to the downside when I was able to point out this head and shoulder pattern. And then we were able to long the market back to the upside. We did have a bullish divergence here on the smaller time frames. The 1 hour had a beautiful one there, and we started to come up, bit of a head and shoulder pattern. Then we made some flags that broke out, and we continued further to the upside. We also broke above moving averages, which gave us a chance to continue to pump on the smaller time frames. Like once you got above the 7-minute 200 MA, it told you could get a bit of a reversal back up, and we got that. Anyway, this is about the macro. I like to show you the big boy stuff, but the small time frames do play a role over time, all right? Looking at the weekly, right? Things you want to pay attention to for your next week ahead. And again, we're bullish for a reversal at the end of last week there. But looking for the week ahead, you just do not want to be losing 52,000 again, right? You lose 52,000 or close a weekly candle below that, then you would have to suggest that 42K is possible and coming, right? Now, so far, so good. We're closing above this $55,600 level, 56K, and, we won't be going, hopefully won't be going near that key level there. If we close a weekly candle below that, that would spell trouble. You want to stay above 56,000 preferably. You'd like to get back above 61,500. That would give you kind of a chance. Okay. And, as crazy as it is with the wick, I don't count the wicks in the structure. We still would have a shoulder ahead and I guess some type of right shoulder that could break out. It's still somewhat messy and it's not amazing. Let's be honest. We did have a rejection at this top channel, which means that we have a resistance at this key level at about $68,600. But right now, we could start to kind of form a support if we can close a weekly candle above, right where I'm at here at about 57,800. That would be our 57,000 support. And, we could draw this and we could start to be making maybe a tighter channel here for the coming few weeks until a bigger breakout. What would be the move if that did happen to break out all the way to the upside? That would give us a measured move to $115,000, and it could say we could get there by January 13th. Imagine $115,000 by the beginning of next year. Januaries have been very bullish for Bitcoin recently. They really started off the runs. The last January was unbelievable, really. So, only time will tell, but that looks somewhat bullish to me. If we can get a higher low here in the set, it can begin our move and then a higher high and then, or even just consolidate inside this channel for 4 to 5 weeks. I would take that as bullish for Bitcoin. On the interim, you're watching your daily time frame get rejected by the 200 MA, right? That keeps happening and you're inside this channel. You could get, further to the downside. I'd like to see us get back above. Everything is waiting on this candle on the 1 hour, on this flag. I started watching it last night when we were away from the 21. Said we're probably going to make a flag and come to the 20 when we did that. Now, can we break back above? Golden cross coming. I'm long right now. Looks like we could get kind of cup and handle our way to the upside, somewhere to liquidity at about $69,300. And that's Bitcoin in a bit of a nutshell. Total market cap, same thing, same story. The daily just isn't rejected by the 200 MA. On the daily, it's got rejected maybe by, let's see, is there another time frame? The 2 hour? 1 hour. It's really, see, the 1 hour broke above its 200 MA and it just used it as support, which is bullish. Total is the market cap in all of cryptocurrency. It's setting up for we might be getting a bullish rally here on the weekend. It looks like Bitcoin might pump this weekend, again, creating another gap in the CME, but it is what it is. This is looking somewhat bullish to me. Same story if we zoom out, you're in the bigger channel. If you zoom in, you're watching this 1 hour flag on the total market cap. See what happens in the next 2-3 days. If this breaks out and continues, then when I'm back here next week, which will be on the 16th, right? We'll be somewhere up in here. And I'll be talking about us making a flag back to the 21 or something. and things will be looking pretty bullish. So, yeah, only time will tell, but we have ourselves a week till I get back to 16th right here. But it looks like we may be higher than we are now if everything keeps going and we get this golden cross on the 1 hour time frame. So total market cap, that key level we're looking at is $624 billion for the altcoins as they try to get back to that $1 trillion level. And the level we're looking at, just to recap for you guys, I didn't mention, is about 2.3, but if you can push up to $2.32 trillion for the entire market cap. But everything looks pretty much the same as Bitcoin, right? They kind of follow through. You can see everything's really following Bitcoin here to a T. Bitcoin dominance, suggesting that it may get a big move to the upside. Watch your altcoins. Everyone wants to trade altcoins. We all want to trade altcoins, but it really just seems like Bitcoin is stealing the show lately yet again. I could see a huge move here for Bitcoin. Maybe this weekend some news comes out, a bank collapses, something goes on. I don't know, but there's just so much more in our favor for Bitcoin to go up. You know what I mean? We have so much infrastructure that's been all around for so long that's shaky. And Bitcoin's new and isn't shaky and just gets stronger. So as the old infrastructure kind of starts to break down, Bitcoin starts to get stronger. And it's like, so if a bank does collapse, if something happens in Congress, whatever goes on, it just makes Bitcoin stronger. Like war, all the pains of the earth, I feel like just make Bitcoin better. Honestly, when I really zoom out here and look at this on the daily time frame, I mean, it's telling me that you could be breaking out and continuing to the upside here. 3-day chart looks good to me. And the weekly is just, it has momentum. I know it's been going for a while, but it has momentum, and it suggests that it's going to make a pretty big move to the upside there, possibly to 63% for Bitcoin dominance. Remember, we always look at Tether dominance when we go over this, and we were showing you Tether dominance making a bear flag as Bitcoin makes a giant bull flag, right? So this is Bitcoin's bull flag. This is Tether dominance's bear flag. We were cautious. We did see that flag a few days back, this 4-hour flag, but luckily it came up, broke down, and it really was kind of like a breakout, fake out. Sorry. It looked like it broke out of the pattern, but it fell back inside, and that's kind of giving, the Tether bears some strength here, right? The Bitcoin bulls and the Tether bears work together. The Tether bears. Are you a Tether bear? I mean, you don't want to really be a Tether bear because, you know what I mean, though. But so looking at the daily, look how the stochastics are pointing down. That's a bear flag. We just got a rejection. I just want to see this break the 200 MA. It looks to me is when I'm here next week, based on probabilities of what the charts convey, that we're going to be coming down and somewhere into these levels, or maybe even at my circled area. So I see a bear flag for Tether dominance, which tells me that people are going to be going into Bitcoin and to altcoins, and we may see a beautiful reversal here this weekend. It looks like something may be happening tomorrow and Sunday, but you never know. But it's setting up for a possibility, right? S&P futures closes the market hot after a beautiful reversal back to the upside. We're just going to have to get back above this 200 SMA. It's setting up for a beautiful Monday. I'd look for Monday for us to break pre-market, probably above this, maybe, but we'll see. But when the market opens, I wouldn't be surprised if we gap up or get above this 200 SMA. I see a move for the S&P next week to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see something like this. When we look at it on the daily time frame, we have the falling wedge that bounced off the 382 Fibonacci level. Again, we could just come up here and then bounce. I see almost a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder coming. So we come up, we get rejected by 5,005, and then we kind of make a right shoulder but continue further to the upside. I know it's a little messy because I got my smaller time frame working there. But I would watch your flag there on the 1 hour time frame. It looks like we're going to open Monday just very, very bullish. You never know, but that's the probability from years of doing this. If I opened up the charts and saw that many, many days, that would have turned into a bullish day. I'm just telling you, I've been watching the market for a long time. So when I tell you something, it's not just one thing. It's saying, hey, it's 17 years of the guy staring at a candle. And, the daily may want to come all the way down to the 200 SMA. It doesn't have to, but it may. And that would hit like the 0.5 Fibonacci level too. So I got my fibs drawn. We may go a little lower, but the 1 hour is looking pretty bullish for the S&P, and it's following in Bitcoin's footsteps. All right. And you see the DXY looks like it wants to take a dump out of a bear flag, which would also put stocks and everything else to the upside. So, we're looking for a bearish move here on the DXY to the downside. So jumping in from Tether dominance to the DXY, I see this basically headed down. We talked about this being a bear flag the last time we hung out. And to me, it looks like it's just setting up to continue. As long as this doesn't get back above that 200 SMA, which it didn't, And as long as it's like setting up to kind of get rejected by those moving averages, when they get tight, they start to dump. I see a move for the DXY further to the downside, shoulder, head, right shoulder in a way. It may bounce a little bit, but to me, it looks like it wants to go down. We are low on the stochastics, but that, not the end of, you're like, oh, we have to bounce now. Looking at my 8-hour time frame, it also looks like we're going to get a. So it looks like this weekend and into the beginning of next week, there's going to be some favorable terms for trading. They may not last long. They may be just 5 or 6 days long, but it looks like we're going to get some type of movement for the bulls here for the next few days. S&P futures, same thing. That's going to break out. And then the NASDAQ, exactly the same. You got this kind of shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder, right? That's a complex inverted head and shoulder to me. Those break to the upside 68% of the time, and you're starting to form these tight triangles with these beautiful measured moves. I would be surprised if the S&P and the NASDAQ don't break out to this level somewhere by Wednesday. Maybe, it could be as late as Friday, but I would say more through the mid to beginning of the week for the NASDAQ and the S&P. Sol Ethereum, I told you last week it was going to pump hard, and that's the one to watch. Talked about it, went over it. I see a big move, made my big green candle, and it's continuing, our green arrow, and it's continuing to go. I see a level at 0.1 for Sol to beat up on Ethereum. It's just faster, quicker. More people know about it. More people use it. If you're going to degen a meme, you're going to use the Solana memes. It just is what it is. If you're going to put a meme out, you're going to use Solana because more people know about it. That alone will propel Solana, even if it has some fodder. People don't, think that the back end fundamentals aren't the greatest. Enough people will just continue to pile into Solana, in my humble opinion. And it has that edge. And that's why you see it beating up on Ethereum. Sol, Bitcoin not beating up so much as well because Bitcoin is strong. But you want to see if this kind of, will it do something like I can make this bigger. We did break out of that beautiful ascending triangle. But you can see how it's making, kind of this tighter channel. And it looks like it definitely wants to break further to the upside, right? My thing is this. If the bull run's cooking and everything's going on, then Bitcoin's going to pump. If Bitcoin's going to pump, Solana's going to pump. Every once in a while, Bitcoin may get the best of Solana. But at the end of the day, Solana will round trip it, come back up, and then beat up on Bitcoin. So over time, I just don't see how this doesn't play out, and you don't make basically double on your Bitcoin when Solana hits 400, doubles up. So this is something I'm watching closely, but Solana Bitcoin looks beautiful to me. And then Kaspa Bitcoin, if it can hold this parabolic kind of parabola that it's forming, I'd like to see it jump. If it loses here, then fine, it's going to dwindle. But if Kaspa BTC can get a bump up here and get tight, and it can continue this rally against Bitcoin, you can see it's just been slowly beating up on Bitcoin because Kaspa's been hot. It's proof of work. It's got what Bitcoin has, but it's just smaller. I'm not trying to compare them at all. I love Bitcoin. Kaspa's a new up-and-coming tech, but it is a coin you want to watch that has its own little, buzz going, and it's very, very strong. So, and everybody, that is going to be your macro weekly analysis for Bitcoin. Total 3. Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, the DXY, S&P futures, NASDAQ futures, Sol Ethereum, Sol Bitcoin, and Kas BTC. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful video. We crammed all of that in to under 20 minutes for you and your enjoyment and education. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life.